Boy, do we have a dog's tale for you. Heartwarming stories on this week's episode of The Animal Rescuers.
The Animal Rescuers has been adopted by Pet Planet. There is nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing here and how you got started?
Well, I actually got started in rescue about 10 years ago in California. I just moved back to Phoenix. I grew up here, and I volunteered with many rescues out in California. And when I moved back to Phoenix, I was looking for a rescue to volunteer with, and I met our leader, Danielle, who you're going to meet in a little bit. And what I noticed that's so different is every rescue that I encountered for 10 years in California, and I know a lot of rescues here in Arizona, they all have a facility. So when you go to save a dog from the euthanasia list, you have somewhere to bring the dog. You have a spot, a kennel, or somewhere for it to sleep. Well, in Danielle's rescue, there's no place to bring the dog, so we solely rely on fosters. We need to pull a dog, and we need somewhere for that dog to go, or we cannot save that dog.
Let me get this straight. You find the dog out in the street, or wherever the dog comes from, you take the dog, and then you bring the dog here? Is that?
It kind of works, you know, we find dogs from the streets, we find owners that can no longer care for their dogs. Mm-hmm. We also go to the local pounds and humane societies and pull dogs that, you know, are on the euthanasia list.
Sure.
And what happens is right now we have more dogs than fosters. So what happens is we need to bring those dogs that don't have a foster home to a place. So we bring them to a facility like this, where, you know, as a rescue, they give us a nice discount, and they are being boarded here until we can either find them a foster or a future home.
So this facility is a boarding facility. Are there many of them in the Phoenix area or the metropolitan area?
There are many boarding facilities. So people, the general public, brings their dogs here for daycare, and you can board your own dog here. They also do, this facility is great because they also have such a big space and ability to hold a lot of dogs that in addition to their business, they also give us as a rescue a cut to home our dogs while we're looking for fosters or potential homes for them. So now I would like you to talk to our fearless leader, who I tell her every day she's an angel.
Between you and Vanessa, the beauty here is amazingly killing me in a good way. I love it.
Thank you for having
beautiful.
us.
So we talked about the boarding facility, how the dogs go from the street or the abused home or whatever to here, and there aren't enough fosters. So can you please talk to me about fostering?
Absolutely. I think folks don't understand that by just fostering one animal, which the definition of fostering means bringing the animal into your home, caring for it, providing for it, giving it any necessary behavioral training that it may or may not need for a short period of time until we can find its forever home sounds a lot bigger job than it actually is. And if everybody could just take in one animal, we wouldn't actually have the problem that we do.
How did you get started?
Well, I used to act and model growing up. I have a background in sales for about 15 years, and when I first got my animals about 5 years ago is when I decided that I was an animal lover. And as I got involved in rescue and started to foster on my own, fell in love with my own fur children, as I call them, I realized that in rescue, most people that do rescue have such big hearts. They are dog people. A lot of them are not business people. And I knew that I could take my business acumen with PR and marketing and social media and sales and all those wonderful things you said about me and make a greater impact for the animals. And it just came together with amazing synergy. I was blessed. I literally started the rescue overnight out of my house one day, and it has taken off by leaps and bounds that I can't even imagine.
And what are some of the ways that we can help the general public that's watching?
Rescuing is a result of overpet population. If folks could be educated, if we can reach out to the communities that need us and start with the problem, which is spaying and neutering, which is our greater mission. A Dog's Tale plans to have mobile spay and neuter units in low-income communities. We also plan to have the Planned Parenthood of government-funded spay and neuter clinics as well. If we can get to the source of the problem, the animals don't end up in our shelters, and we can go from there. But in the meantime, we need volunteers of all shapes and sizes. We need people to come down here to this facility and walk dogs on a daily basis. Sometimes the animals don't get out if we don't come.
The problem, like you said, starts with spay and neutering. And a lot of people do have the love, but they don't have the income. So I really like what you're doing with the spay and neuter clinics going into the lower income areas. That's grand. So when will that become available so that we can start fixing this problem?
Absolutely. So we are in the process of obtaining our 501c3 nonprofit status. It is a government-controlled process.
Right.
As soon as we receive that, which we are trying to raise the funds for right now to pay for, it costs about $2,000 to get your actual nonprofit status application filed. Once we do that, we will have access to government grants and government-funded agencies that will be able to graciously provide us with the monetary resources that we need to not only do those two things that I spoke about, but to also open our own facility.
So $2,000 will get you started.
Absolutely.
Every facility has an immediate need. Besides the $2,000, what else is there as an immediate need?
We have about 15 dogs currently that need foster homes. We have 6 here, we have 4 in my home, and we have 5 in another home, including 2 litters of mom and puppies. Our very immediate need in order to help us bring down the bills that we have with the veterinary care and at the boarding facility is for people to open up their homes and hearts and help us foster some of these pets.
Do you trust the food you feed? At Pet Planet, our commitment is to helping our customers navigate through the confusing world of pet food, reading ingredient panels, asking critical questions about manufacturing and ingredient quality. Our pets rely on us to make the very best decisions we can for their health, happiness, and longevity. Pet Planet is here as your partner in pet health because there's nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
You can be a part of the animal rescuers also, making a difference for the animals and bringing your business to center stage. Become a sponsor for the show. Ad rates are very low for the summer, so now is the time to jump on board. And you can be an animal rescuer too. Make the call.
Welcome back to the Animal Rescuers, adopted by Pet Planet.
And now on the Animal Rescuers, we're having our first ever Adopt a Dog fashion show.
This is Jack. He's a Jack Russell Terrier. He is about 8 years old. He did develop adult diabetes, which is sadly why he was returned to us, but he's a wonderful dog. He loves cats, children, and other animals. This is Oreo. Oreo was saved from the euthanasia list just a few days ago. He's a very, very happy 9-month to 1-year-old pit bull puppy. He's great with other dogs. He's happy-go-lucky. He's going to need a little bit of training, as does any puppy, but he will make a wonderful family pet. This is Mr. Buddy. We like to say that Buddy was rescued from the streets from a life of crime. I found him running down Van Buren Avenue. He was covered in ticks. He was fully matted. He's 1 to 2 years old. We spent quite a lot of money cleaning him up. He's great with other dogs. He's a little timid, so he does need some extra TLC, but he's gonna just make an awesome lap dog. This is Cupcake. She's about a 9-month to 1-year-old female pit bull. She was rescued just about 3 days ago by a dog's tail. She's a wonderful dog, gets along great with other animals of all shapes and sizes. Again, she's a puppy, a little bit high energy, a little bit of training needed, but an absolute doll. This is Mercedes. A dog's tail animal rescue. Jamie herself went down to the pound yesterday to rescue another black lab. There was a woman there actually adopting that same black lab at the very same time, which was a miracle. This dog was actually being walked to the euthanasia room while we were there, and this kind woman literally saved her life from death.
Yay.
She is an amazing dog. She's about 5 years old. She's happy-go-lucky. She has a lot of life to live and a lot of love to give.
We love you, Mercedes. Yes, thank you.
This is Mr. Fernie, the Ferninator. Fernie was what we call a long timer at the Maricopa County Animal Care and Control Eastside Shelter. They take great care to keep dogs as wonderful as Fernie alive for extended periods of time, much more than other animals. And he was given his last night, and we received a phone call that unfortunately we would lose Fernie the very next day. I didn't have room for him, but I did have a kennel here. And here's Mr. Fernie. He's 1 to 2 years old. He's a bully breed. He's got a lot of energy, but he plays well with others. He just needs proper dog introductions, big backyard, some acreage, a lot of loving. He's a great guy. This is Mr. Brody. Brody has been at the facility since May, and we saw him going downhill, and we knew what a wonderful dog he was. We actually took him on. He was left behind. We took him on to our rescue, and he's been at my home for only 4 days. He is perked up now, tail wagging high, into a wonderfully loving, docile, calm, very sweet boy that gets along with children, animals of all shapes and sizes, and he literally sleeps in bed with me every single night.
The stories you have just heard are amazing, and they really touched my heart. I hope they have touched yours. These dogs are available for immediate fostering and or adoption. Please contact the website at A Dog's Tale and on Facebook.
The first Pet Planet store opened in 1996 after the devastating loss of our Cocker Spaniel to cancer. What we learned then about pet health was eye-opening. The food and the treats that we were giving him did not support his immune system and may have actually harmed him. Pet Planet was established to be a community resource, a store that offers only the healthiest products and the best knowledge on pet health issues. At Pet Planet, there is nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
You can be a part of the animal rescuers also, making a difference for the animals and bringing your business to center stage. Become a sponsor for the show. Ad rates are very low for the summer, so now is the time to jump on board. And you can be an animal rescuer too. Make the call.
Welcome back to the Animal Rescuers, adopted by Pet Planet.
That is Bugsy, and we just got Bugsy within a couple of weeks. His owner actually died a year ago, and there are family members that were trying to find a home for him for a year and weren't successful, and he came to us pretty matted, box spurs in his coat. We had him groomed, and unfortunately he lost most of his coat because of the condition that it was in. Right now he's got a cute face, and when his coat grows out, he'll just be a cute dog all around.
Hey everyone, I'm Yoni with Balancing Paws, and this here is Phoenix, and he's going to help me show you how we helped him get over some of his anxiety issues with basic walking skills and place command. Okay, so here's Phoenix, and we're going to show you how we use the prong collar to properly introduce him to a nice relaxed walk without any stress on the dog at all, and showing him to follow our lead whenever, no matter the situation. We have dogs around him, a couple in kennels and a couple on their places, so we have a little bit of a distraction, and we'll show you how that gets done. So here we go. So we just very simply, come on, call him over, let him kind of do his thing, right? So once he starts to get a little bit ahead of you, we give a team with him. It's actually, we've worked with him a little bit, so it's not going to affect him. So here we go. You get a little bit of the pressure on the leash, and he starts to feel that, and he has to figure out which way does this guy want me to go. He starts to come my way. The pressure gets released, and now I can start, taking it a little bit further. And being in Arizona, we actually don't do this a lot outside during the day because of the heat. But it's still just as effective working with them inside, because we're just introducing them to the basics of, what does this mean to feel this pressure, so that we don't have to actually start yanking on them or doing anything like that. As you can see right here, he's going his own way. A little bit of pressure gets him to go the way that I want him to go. So we can just kind of walk back and forth all day long, and he'll get mentally and physically exhausted. And I'm Yoni, and be sure to watch me regularly on the Animal Rescuers. Have a great day.
Welcome back. I'm Dr. Krista Gibson from Animal Medical Services, and this is At the Vet. A common discussion that we often have as veterinarians is about anesthesia and surgical procedures for our pets. Anesthesia can be scary, and if you start talking to your friends or talking to people you know, It never fails that somebody has an aunt with a cousin or a friend who had a dog or a cat that died under anesthesia. And we understand that that's a frightening thing to hear about. But I'm here to tell you that anesthesia in your modern veterinary office is very, very safe, and we have all the modern amenities that you have at a regular human hospital. There's a lot of predatory marketing out there, particularly online, talking about how dangerous anesthesia is for your pet. But the reality is, studies have shown that less than 1 in 10,000 pets has an adverse anesthetic event. Why? Because we prepare. We do pre-surgical blood work on your patient beforehand. This is almost standard in every veterinary office. We have IV fluids, IV catheters, all designed to help improve your safety of your pet under anesthesia. During an anesthetic procedure, your pet is subject to all the monitoring that's available. We monitor heart rate, oxygen content, blood pressure, EKG, body temperature, respiratory rate, all the same things that you would have monitored if you were going under anesthesia. All of this makes it possible for us to know not only what's going on the outside of your pet, but also what's going on the inside of your pet. So that if something should happen, such as a change in blood pressure or heart rate, we can respond to that before it becomes a problem, thus preventing an adverse anesthetic event. And let's not forget the valuable veterinary technicians and veterinary anesthetic assistants that we have. They are monitoring your pet continuously throughout a procedure. They're going to notify the veterinarian if anything looks out of the ordinary. The bottom line is there is no one-size-fits-all to veterinary anesthesia. Different pets have different needs, just as different people have different needs. Underlying medical conditions, age, health conditions can all affect the veterinary anesthetic procedure that your pet undergoes. Your veterinarian understands your concerns about anesthesia. It can be scary, but before you believe your aunt's cousin's friend or the internet rumors, check with your veterinarian. Ask them what they're going to do to keep your pet safe under anesthesia. I'm Dr. Krista Gibson from Animal Medical Services, and we'll see you next time at the vet. Do you trust the food you feed? At Pet Planet, our commitment is to helping our customers navigate through the confusing world of pet food, reading ingredient panels, asking critical questions about manufacturing and ingredient quality. Our pets rely on us to make the very best decisions we can for their health, happiness, and longevity. Pet Planet is here as your partner in pet health, because there's nothing more important to us than your pet's health.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of my heart and I tell the women in my life to do the same.
Sounds great, by the way.
That's nice, sweetie, but that's not my heart. That is. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hi, I'm Jen, and this is your Pet Planet Pet Tip of the Week. This week, we're going to be talking about cancer. The rate of cancer in our animal companions is growing at an alarming rate. As with any illness, prevention plays a critical role in helping to fight off disease and toxins when our pets are faced with them. The first consideration in prevention of cancer is ensuring that you are feeding a healthy, high-quality pet food. Feeding foods that contain a high level of antioxidants allows your pet to maintain a strong and healthy immune system. There is a great deal of evidence to show that cancer cells actually feed on sugar levels found in the bloodstream. As a result, look for a pet food that contains carbohydrate sources that rate low on the glycemic index. The glycemic index rates food sources by the amount of sugar that they will convert into the bloodstream. Look for low GI carbohydrate sources such as red lentils, peas, barley, and rye. Feeding a raw food diet is considered optimal for cancer prevention, and many holistic veterinarians will also use this diet as an alternative approach when actually treating a pet that has cancer. If feeding a raw food diet is not an option for your family, then be sure to look for a healthy, high-quality kibble diet that contains these low GI carbohydrates. Another consideration to think about is the environment that your pet lives in. Avoid toxic carcinogens. Most loving pet guardians do not realize that many household cleaners, yard pesticides and fertilizers, and secondhand smoke are all highly toxic to your pet. When they walk in these areas, these toxins get onto their feet and are often ingested while a pet grooms themselves. One final consideration when thinking about cancer is genetics. Unfortunately, pets are overbred today, and many breeders are passing cancer genes down from one generation to the next. If adding a new pet to your family, please be sure that you truly research pet acquisition and make a choice that will be right for the health of your family member. Pet Planet always prefers to support local rescue organizations, but if you decide that buying a purebred dog from a breeder is the right choice for you, be sure to ask the breeder those hard questions. You need to have a very good understanding of their breeding practices and genetic history. Stay tuned each week for more Pet Planet pet tips. More of the animal rescuers coming right up.
You can be a part of the animal rescuers also, making a difference for the animals and bringing your business to center stage. Become a sponsor for the show. Ad rates are very low for the summer, so now is the time to jump on board. And you can be an animal rescuer too. Make the call.
Welcome back to the Animal Rescuers, adopted by Pet Planet.
So when I came across the weekly web TV show, The Animal Rescuers, I was surprised to find out just how much goes into providing these services to the animals throughout the state. And in fact, I was so intrigued by the premise of the show that I invited the show's host, Ms. Kimber to join us for our final segment here on KXXT. She's going to chat with us a little bit more about the mission behind the Animal Rescuers web TV show.
Recently, Cory and I appeared on the Arizona Lifestyles radio show with Cricket Gill to talk about animal rescues. Thanks to Cricket and Biker Mike for making us feel welcome and giving the animals a further voice. One of the missions for the show is to create public awareness for how vast this problem is. And I know for myself, just being the host of the show, I thought I knew a lot about animals, but I know absolutely nothing.
Right. One of the questions that I had for you, and it was later on in my bucket list of questions, I like to call it, is and I'll ask you now because it came up, but do you find that you learn something new each and every episode?
Oh, absolutely. And with every episode that we do, every rescue that we deal with, what is so unique is how they are all different. Because you would think that a rescue is just a rescue, but they aren't. It all boils down to what type of facility it is, what type of animals do they rescue, what their different needs are. It's just amazing. A Dog's Tale is truly a story about love. They need it. Hopefully you can provide it. This is Kimberly reminding you, adopt, donate, volunteer, spay and neuter, share our show on Facebook, and you can be an animal rescuer too. We'll see you next time.
EKG, and I forgot what else.
Let's change it.
Okay.
Go meet her.
Yeah. Showtime.